Welcome back everybody to the Renaissance Retro Podcast. My name's Robert, and today I'm going to be interviewing an Italian game developer, the developer of 2021 Moon Escape. So 2021 Moon Escape is a game made in GB Studio. You can currently play it in browser on itch.io, and I believe it will be available to purchase physically in November. So in this video, we'll start with the gameplay, as you can see here. Then we'll lead into the interview with the developer, and also at the very end, he'll be showing us around the project and what it's like to have a large GB Studio project. Hello, this is a creator of Moon Escape. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Robert, for this time that you gave me to have this great chat together. I'm Tommaso, and I'm 32, and I'm a game developer, a professional game developer. I'm working in this field now. It's like 7 years, and I'm running a development studio, an indie development studio in Italy.
So why did you choose GB Studio to make a game then?
Most of my work is about do project in team. Okay, so project that involves 5-10 people, something like that. And there is this period in the 2021 that I wanted to do something only on my own, just to try it to check if I could do stuff, And I was going for Pico 8. And then I wanted to try another couple of them, but GB Studio is basically the most accessible because I'm a creative. I do creative direction. I'm a level designer basically, so I don't know how to program in a way that makes sense for for consoles and for advanced usage, but I know how to script. So I wanted something that could allow me to be more creative as possible, but to give me enough limitations to be able not to overdo, So GB Studio is perfect also because I'm from 1990, and that's Game Boy is our childhood, so it was perfect for try that.
So what inspired the theme and the story and even the artwork for the game?
At the beginning, what I wanted was, of course, not this big. I wanted basically a Game Boy clone of Legend of Zelda, bigger than the first Legend of Zelda. In fact, the map is the same size. But I didn't want to do something medieval or something classic RPG. I wanted to go in another direction. So I decided to go into space. Actually, not many RPG space game are there for Game Boy. So I thought it was a nice idea. And but from there, basically everything scaled up. It was at the beginning a 6-month project, and it became a 1-year project, because on the run I decided that I was enjoying so much the development with GB Studio, so I added a lot of feature and stuff. And of course, during the process, I added inside a lot of things that I really love about gameplay, of course. But also about literature. I'm in love with Asimov, so I probably read everything that exists about Asimov. I'm a Trekkie. I love so much Star Trek, so a lot of Star Trek is there. But of course, for a presentation, I used a Star Wars more. This is more enjoyable for people. So I put it inside themes like relationship between man and machine, stuff like that. That is from Asimov, and but in a light way, as a Star Wars or Star Trek comedy could do. From an aesthetic point of view, I spent a lot of time in studying all GB games that ever existed. The style, because I'm not a pixel artist. I probably now I am a pixel artist, but I was not a pixel artist when I started to work on this project. And I spent a lot of time to decide the kind of aesthetic that the game should have. I had a great reference, which is Link's Awakening, because I started with the first Zelda, but then during the process I realized that Link's Awakening was more close. Link's Awakening, honestly, it's art. It's top art, like one of the best things that you can do with 4-color, probably with that size of screen. So I decided to go with an approach less artistic and more, I call it realistic, probably, if you can say that.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
Yeah, okay. I'm not crazy, and I'm really I'm happy about that. And yeah, but more realistic. So you can it's less cartoonish and more realistic. And this, I think that also is in line with the tone of the story, which is not heavy. The protagonist jokes in every moment that they can. but anyway is treating important stuff like there is a war going on, there is you are the last hope of the good guys and stuff, you know.
What was the hardest part about learning GB Studio if you are normally a level designer?
Okay, first approach is basically the understand. Okay, probably is to understand your limitations, because there is so much stuff that you could do with GB Studios, that you don't realize that at certain levels you need to scale down, because it seems at the beginning that GB Studio has so much potential, so much stuff that you can do, and you can go in every direction. But at a certain point, you realize that the engine, because it's an engine, it's not meant to do big stuff, you know, do big this kind of huge project. So at some point, you are very restricted what you want to do. So you have to find out ways to do things that are not meant to do that way, but like colorization, a lot of animation are being complex. I wouldn't say that GB Studio it's hard. It's super easy. I'm coming from Unity. I'm coming from Unreal. I teach Unreal in academies and stuff. So I know how to use engines. But probably the most complicated part is to understand where you have to stop, because it doesn't meant to do this kind of big games, because this kind of big experience. At some point, I thought that if I learned to script with Unity, could have been way more fast production probably.
So obviously you said it took about 6 months, did you say, to make Moonscape? But did you have a deadline or budget in mind when you first started?
Okay, about budget, I didn't have any budget, and because I developed the game during my free time. Basically, I spent all weekends of 2021 on the game. In fact, 2021 is also in the name of the game, which is a joke, internal joke for me and my guys that I work with. But yeah, there is zero budget, and the time was 6 months. I wanted something playable in 6 months, and I did. I had something playable, but I realized the more I was approaching to the end of the experience, the more I understood that it could be so much more just by adding polish and adding stuff that gives a perceived quality, like cutscenes, like dungeons. First version of the game didn't have any dungeons. Now we have basically the Breath of the Wild shrines, you know, and also story dungeons were being enlarged. At some point, I decided to add a map, because to make the game way more accessible for everyone, to understand what you have to go. So this kind of stuff took me the rest of the year. At the end of 2021, I had the whole game, and during the winter vacation, I decided to make it test before first among my closest colleagues and friends, and after that I reached it out outside people like you, and other guys that are in this field, that knows how to deal with GB Studio, that they give me a lot of cool advices, and basically we can say that the first 6 months of the 2022 related to a very relaxed polish. Every time I wanted to go on the project, I polished stuff, but very relaxed, and I actually didn't really work it on it that much.
Comparing your normal, working in a team, professional game developer life, how did it? What was the biggest difference that you had, like polishing a GB Studio game?
I would say that GB Studio is a closed environment. So the kind of QA that you need on a project like that, it's way more light than a normal project. In a normal project, you spend some time to pre-production, a certain amount of time on production, and a big amount of time in QA and refining stuff. And this is something that actually I translated on this small project. But basically most of the the difficulty, the hardness was to make the player understand that it's a nostalgic experience, because this is something that I really wanted. I wanted to be nostalgic, and I think that I achieved that point from a level, from a gameplay point of view, but also there is a lot of stuff from old games that now I realize after being like many years has passed, that I realized that there are clunky or complex, that the stuff that players used to accept in past that now it doesn't accept. So I have to find the right balance. So what I wanted to do, and now the player now needs to tell me if it's right now. What I wanted to do is that you feel like you're in an old GB game, but with the that little tiny amount of stress that that reminds you about GB or old GB games, but it doesn't have autoplay. Just doesn't have autoplay. If you are where you look at the map, you invest in upgrading your character, you should have no problem. But for a super distracted, super casual player, it's not that kind of game that that can play. But I believe that if you ever played and enjoy at least one game on Game Boy, you can enjoy Moonscape.
I understand that you now have a publisher. When did you start looking for a publisher?
I wanted from the beginning to have a physical distribution, and I started at the beginning of 2022. Basically, after vacation, I had to be sure that the game was playable and enjoyable from people. So I let the game test as much as possible. Then probably on February, something like that, January, February, I reached out from some publisher, and this is not the project to make money. It's a fun project. So first publisher that I thought that was a nice guy and works, I went with them, which is Incubate, and they do very high quality stuff. I'm loving that. Probably not that much retro as I would like, because there are copyright problems that they need to address. But I love the work that they did so far, and it's great. I believe the results.
Would you suggest other people to find a publisher as well?
It really depends about what you want to do. I needed a publisher because I didn't want to learn how to basically do physical stuff, and distribution. This is a zero effort for me. Also, I have no problem in sharing royalties, because I don't want to, this is not my first work, so no problem. So basically I choose to go with the publisher because they have already everything prepared, and I didn't have to work more on this project. Also because I have more stuff to do this year during my normal work. So during the weekend, I enjoy working little GB Studio, other project, but not that full time that I used to do last year. But yeah, I would suggest to search for a publisher just to if you want your game to be played for a wider audience, which is the only thing that I care about, is that people knows that Moonscape exists and they play it, and they can give me some feedback, because this was a great testing opportunity of my skills and my capabilities of understand how to do a game from A to Z. So this gives me a lot of data to improve myself, but also that when you make video games, you love that people plays your game. So that's the most important thing, and I believe that the publisher is the best way. Also because also in my everyday life work, I really am not that skilled in social media, in how to promote your product. We go straight to publisher because I'm the kind of guy that likes to stay behind a monitor and inside the engine and work inside the engine. Of course, I have to manage other people work more than 50% of my time. But the thing that I really like to do is stay behind the monitor, work in engine, and promote the game. It's something. As long as we're doing like this right now, we are chatting about stuff. It's great for me. I'm in my safe zone, but outside social and stuff, I'm very goofy, I'd say.
So, do you have metrics for a successful game? Like, how do you say this game is done? This game is a good game. How do you measure your success?
I believe that your success is based on what you wanted to have from a game. From my point of view, Monescape is already a success because I did it. I enjoyed the time that I spent working on it. So I'm really happy. Everything that will come after this, it will be extra, but I really care only about people that play my experience. From a technical point of view, from a professional point of view, you have to make math basically. How much time you spent on this, and so how much that time is money spent, and will I be able to repay the money that I spent in a certain amount of time? So that's the point. We can probably talk about development and years and how many people you have, how many money you want to get, and the different states is different, different countries is different, and on different platform is different. So it's really complicated. I would say that you have to be super sure of what you want on the beginning of the experience. Then if you attain that, it's okay. If your achievement is to make money, you make money, it's okay. Probably. But if you just want to enjoy yourself, and everything else, it's great, as long as you, during the development, which is not easy. During the development, you don't have to start to hate what you're doing. This is important because in past happened to me with other project, a very long project, like a 2-year and more of development, that you work so much time on a project that you really don't want to see the engine anymore. And but at the end, if you love this work, you will come back in it probably. And for me was very important not to start to hate this project. So I decided to spend only my spare time and not to have any kind of pressure about closing it. And of course, I know how to manage my time. I manage other people's time most of the time during my normal work. So I know how to manage my time. But most difficult thing is absolutely not start to hate your project if you're doing something big. So you have to come back at the beginning with your mind at the beginning of the experience, have try to reach that kind of naive mindset that you have at the beginning of every experience, because that naive mindset leads you to be more enthusiastic of what you're doing. Another thing, having the chance to have a break of something that is completely different every week helped me to want to reach the weekend, so that I can work on that it's more that it's something different,
So where can people find your game?
In this very moment, you can play the whole experience on HIO. Just type 2021 Moonscape, or probably, I don't know, in the comments you will put some link. Probably,
in the description. Yeah.
And there you can find the whole experience. It's a demo, but basically, if you are in the start menu and you press 5 times shift, you will unlock the whole experience. So you can play the whole experience there. On November, I don't know the precise dates, but on November we will release the physics version. And since I am so lucky to have a development team on my back, I spent some time this year to do a Nintendo Switch version. So we basically created a way to adapt the game to Nintendo Switch. I don't know if I show you something that
You did, yeah.
yeah, okay. I want to go on Nintendo Switch with a free version. I will do something probably like a demo version, which have all the game inside that you can play, and the normal version that you will unlock. I don't know, kind of couple of palettes or stuff just to support the developer, kind of things. But we will go on Nintendo Switch for sure. Because it's the easiest platform that we can reach from a productive point of view. And after that, probably if we have time, stuff, I will go on other platforms. But I would say that for 2023, we will have it on Switch, on Nintendo Switch. After that, I'm not completely sure of what we will have, because it's not something that's the fun part. It's not something that we are preparing. It's as long as we want to do stuff, we do that.
So now you're going to show us your project itself so we can see what it's like to see a huge full game. So as you said before to me, this isn't the final version. This is a previous one that you don't want to mess up, right?
Yeah, we can mess up with this one,
no
problem. So this is the smallest kind of zoom that I can do.
It's nice and organized. I like that.
Yeah, you should be, because
yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be a real mess. So I can show you around the project. I don't know, like
yeah, please do.
Of course, yeah. This guys here, this part is the main map.
Okay.
If you go from there to here, you have
yes, I see
a right map. This part is all about beginning cutscene. So you will have the logo. This is a test scene that I have, the developer logo and beginning scene, main start screen and stuff. And this is the first cutscene. Then down here we have all shrines and dungeons. Which are different stuff, because dungeons are for the main quest and the shrines are the thing that you do but you are not forced to do in the game. And a couple of dungeon also where like this one, when you take extra tools, like this one in particular is the you take the bomb, the explosive thing that you have here. It's for the shield, and this part up here is for it's for the final boss battle and stuff. This is the final cutscene. This is the credits, and this is the post credits, which has the end of the story.
And, no spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Yeah. You actually here, this is another version. You can see the only one final, but we have 3 kind of endings of the game. One basically is a normal play, when you do most of the thing but not everything, and you go there and you have a specific dialogue with the boss, and you will have this ending here. Another one is when you do everything, you complete 100% of the game. Here is the menu, the pause menu. So in this section here, you will count the percentage of the game, and if you have the 100%, you will lock a final where the main boss tells you everything about the lore, about who he is, and basically you know more stuff. And the very ending, the very most difficult ending is if you do 0%. So basically you only take the shield, but you don't upgrade anything. So this is for hardcore player, and you go to the boss. There you will have different a different dialogue, but also a different post-credit cutscene, which is more positive, let's say, because all the experience is about that you have to bring back to your planet the war plant, because there is the enemies that is coming. So all the game says that you should be fast in doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and but of course you end up trying to do dungeons, and you will be slowed down. So I
I like
decided
that a
to do
lot.
something that if you really do, like in a lot of games, you have that side quest, oh my god, hurry, and you do something else, and after 10 hours of gameplay you come back and you still need to be hurry. I try to do something that's if you really are fast, you will end up with a different kind of ending. But probably the canonic ending is the one where you take all of the things and they will explain you stuff. I don't want to go
Of course.
into details. Yeah, also the story part is it's important. The game is not that super heavy, something that drags the player around. Here you can find the map DLC that you can unlock during during specific things. You unlock different kind of stuff that you can see on the map.
So,
Yeah.
do you know how many scenes are in your project? If you create a new scene, it might tell you, the name of the scene will be like scene 300 or something, and it'll be.
Let's create a new scene.
338 scenes in your
Yeah,
game. That's incredible.
probably 337 probably, because this one is not is real. It's just for a backup.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
when I made a video, I tried to have thousands of scenes, and it almost broke the thing. So I think you're in a good space there where it probably doesn't lag too much, right?
Yeah, it doesn't lag that much. This PC that we are working right now, it's not that powerful, but handles the project very well. There is a huge, let's say, problem, which is every time you press play, you will have to wait like that.
Oh
kind
yeah.
of 30 seconds, something like that, to just to play the experience, because
I remember
it's
waiting
stuff.
like 5 whole minutes, maybe even,
Oh,
maybe actually, I do remember as well when I made it like literal thousands of scenes. I was waiting like half an hour maybe. It was awful.
yeah.
So it's good that it only takes 30 seconds.
No, 30 seconds. I thought it was the maximum, but yeah, you you beat me.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, worth mentioning that the game is 2 megabytes, so it stays in the 2 megabytes cartridge. I don't know why or how, actually, but
Yeah.
it does. But I never recycled any background. I did all the background in tiled, of course. This one I just
Yeah.
did it myself with with my bare hand. And actually, a couple of these ones I did 3D models. Then I did a screen and I drop on top of them, like the astronaut. I take an image. This ship, this is the protagonist ship, is something that we did for a project that we never used, and I have there inside some kind of project, backup project. I just reused this, so this is not wasted work anymore.
That's really smart. I like that. So, what's the part of this project that you're most proud of when you're looking around here?
For sure, yes, that's an able call. For sure is the pixel art, the style that I was able to achieve. It's something that I believe it's clean, but at the same time it stays inside the boundaries of the game. And I probably, from a technical point of view, it's not the most interesting answer, but the fact that I was able to reach this kind of clearness, this kind of image where you see perfectly what are your boundaries, and where you can go and where you can't go, and so the player is understand very well what needs to do.
Yeah.
It's a great achievement for me, and the most uncharted land that I traveled during this project. From a technical point of view, I'm super happy about the menu, the pause menu. Now I know how a programmer will struggles with interface when you ask something. It's not that easy to do. So all this interface,
I was
the
really impressed by
navigation.
this. Yeah.
I spent a lot of. You can see a little bit of Bethesda works inside
Hmm.
this menu, but the navigation here inside to move around it's a lot of work, but probably the most interesting part could be the world map. Basically, this tells you live where you are. So every time you can press pause and you know where you are. And I'll explain you how it works if you're interested.
Yeah, please do.
Basically, you have this. I hide the character, of course. In fact, here I have an hide stuff part in every scene. Based on in every scene of the map like this one, I set a variable for the map. So I said that in the map you should have this this place. So I update this couple of variables, and here this actor reads where he should go, and he goes there. In fact, when you open the map, you see this moving here. And this other one is your location where you should go. It's more fast, but just because it starts with the empty frame and appears, but it's also moving. It appears later. And yeah, this is the way I try to do that. And also every pixel that we have here matches with one tile of the map. So
that's
this
really
tile here
smart. Yeah.
is like something that we probably have, that this part of the map is probably this little tiny thing that you see there. And I was lucky with this. I found out that basically I have the size of the map, the matches perfectly the number of the horizontal tile that you have with the pixel. So this map is the same amount of pixel of the Game Boy.
That is
screen.
amazing. I
Yeah,
absolutely love that. I
everything
definitely
you
want to
will
do that in
see.
my games from now on.
Yeah, it's nice. And one problem that you have with this approach is that, of course, you don't have this screen here is not this outline here is not perfect with this. It's smaller.
I guess in GB Studio 3.1 you could do that though.
You could
Obviously
yeah.
you're using GB Studio 2 beta 5, yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to GB Studio 3 because I tried that and everything falls apart, and I stay with this one. But yeah, so that's the reason why you see 3-pointer, because for some reason I switched this pointer
I can see.
right moment.
Yeah, in order to cover the right piece, right?
Yeah. And probably it could be also interesting to see how I manage the every scene, because a lot of stuff happening. This is one of base scene. Basically, the beginning of every scene, the character comes from here or from here or from here. What I do, I call this player manager. Okay, basically it resets stuff about the player, and you should do that in every moment. So sorry, this is in Italian, that is my language, but this is basically speed of movement, sprite sheet of the player, and speed of animation of the player. Then it calls the chance to call the pause menu in every scene. So if I press start, it calls the right scene, and this is not using this. This is junk from other thing. So it calls this event. After that, it hides life, for example. Life is here. If you kill this guy, he will spawn this life. But of course, in GB Studio, we all know that you can't spawn stuff. You have to hide them from the beginning. So I had to hide the life. And also I hide, of course, the bomb. This is almost straight from one of your tutorial. I edited some stuff around, but the bomb works differently because it shoots stuff around, but basically comes from one of your the tutorials. And I have the bomb here, and in every scene I have the bomb. Eden is there, and of course I call it on the position of the player when I need it and stuff. Then I set all the stuff that the player can do. So did you already unlock the bomb? Did you already unlock the shield? And I ask that kind of stuff, and I check if you have updated that. Then basically, if you can use that, you will be able to spawn it. This is about shooting. It understands your direction and shoots in that direction. And of course the counter, because every time that you shoot, it will count how much bullets you have. And if you have less than 3 bullets, it will say on top of the player. I use the balloon thing I edited.
What they call it, a motion or something, right?
Yeah. And I edited to tell how much bullet you have. It's super lucky that this is one of the creative way I used the engine. And of course, this is here the use of the shield. If you upgraded it and stuff, as you can see, it kind of became. If I have to put my hand on this right now, I would spend probably 20 minutes to understand what's going on here at this moment, because it's past some time. And here's for shooting and so a lot of stuff happened every time you call a scene. Fortunately, this happens in a couple of frames because it's not heavy stuff, so the player will never have some kind of freeze, and everything is very fast. But yeah, I call a lot of stuff and I reset a lot of stuff in every time you come. This also helps me because there is some bug in the game. There is some time that our sprite doesn't work, but I didn't have that much time to, that kind of amount of scene just to find a bug here and just to resolve that bug in every other scene. It's very complicated. So I just decided that if some kind of bug happens, which not that much, if you play the game, you could tell us that, but yeah, not that much. But to be completely sure, I reset a lot of things around, so the player will always have a refreshed state that with all these variables there and precise, that works. Also, another thing that it's very complicated that I didn't anticipate at the beginning of the development is basically that if you want to tune the game, it's a hell. That the most problematic part is to tune the game, because you don't have that kind of this is not an image. It's just a thing that is here, and I copy and paste it. I don't know, here again. Okay, so if I change something here, like I don't know, 0.1 second of feedback, okay, I have to go to every one of these guys and go here and check everything. So it takes a lot of time just to change a very small variable, which is the main problem with that I was talking about at the beginning of our chat. The limitation that you have inside the GB Studios are not based on mostly on colors, or on scripts that you can do on graphics. It's about this. If you want to go to very wide, you have to take in consideration that tuning is complicated. So I would give a suggestion to tune everything at the beginning, and then copy and paste stuff around.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I know you could obviously put it into the custom events, but even then, there are still things that you'll have to, like, it doesn't all fit into a custom event, and had to have 2 custom events, for example, when it becomes, even then, it's still the same issue that you just talked about.
Yeah, at least in this version of GB Studio, custom events are really limited,
Yeah, very
unfortunately.
limited. Yeah. My last question would be, what part of the game has changed the most since you started working on it?
Oh, it's a good question. I would say that the beginning of the game changed a lot from the beginning, and everything happens in this scene here. In every moment in the game, you can teleport you back here.
The
Okay.
connections. Uh-huh.
Yeah, connections. You just press pause, you go into map menu, and you can teleport back here with a very sweet teleport animation. And but here I changed a lot of stuff to be sure that the experience is smooth as possible. The first minutes of gameplay are the more important. If you lose the player there, you lose the game. So I made sure that the story, the narrative was the lightest as possible, but that gives you the more context as possible. So I cut a lot of dialogues and stuff to make everything super smooth. Probably you can skip this whole Star Wars part and understand everything from here. But yeah, let's say that after 4-5 minutes after the beginning of the game, you are right in the action. But I have to set the tone of the two characters to understand who they are, why they are there, and their mood, their relationship. Players want a little bit of context. And also the second part is here in the tutorial part when it says that where you are and what you have around, what's your objective, and how you should use the map. So this couple of parts has been edited a lot. Also worked a lot on the boss, on the final boss, which, as you can see, is not GB Studio 3. So the final boss is 8 different actors that talks together, and they goes around, and they some of them will shoot you, and if you shoot any one of these, you will have the life of the boss. So yeah, and this part has been edited a lot of times. Also, the boss has two states. The one is close that you can fight him, and that is far, he goes around and shoot, and you just have to avoid this. Like in the classic, I don't know, boss. Actually, this boss is something very close to some Donkey Kong stuff, or just also Crash Bandicoot approach. So there is a moment where you can shoot, and there's a moment when you can't. But this has been edited quite a lot. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I think that's all we have time for, which is a lot of time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always super fine to be able to chat about your game. I developed this game 1 year alone, and now I want to talk it just a little with someone that can understand what you did, and the trouble that you got into during the development.
So I want to thank Tommaso again very much for his time. He was fantastic. I hope you guys found this insightful. I've obviously played the game from start to finish. I only got one of the endings. I didn't know there were 3 endings. And remember, if you want to check out the game, there'll be a link in the description. You can play it for free on itch right now. And also, it'll be available to purchase sometime in November, I believe. So I'll put my patrons up on screen right now. Thank you very much to you guys. You guys are the best. Remember to like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you thought of this video and what you want to see in the future. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.